Well, good day, and also welcome to my new background here. I always tried to create a background that's pretty cool and, kind of works with the episode, but then I figured I should just create this one, which is a recreation of my childhood basement where I watched a lot of the shows I talk about, including the episode today, which is a faux crossover with the real Ghostbusters and Robo-Cop. So as per usual, let's flap our gums about the episode itself, and then we'll talk some more things about it after. So alright, let's go. Right on. So we start off with the Ghostbusters busting some ghosts downtown, saving the day and all that. They're heading back to the fire hall, but there's this really super fly limo out in front of it. They're like, what's going on? So Janine steps out of it because she just had a fancy dinner date with her boy toy, who's this kind of slimy guy who is the president of Gross Junk Industries. Superty duperty rich and all that. So hey, get on here, right? But the Ghostbusters get called away to another job, so they're like, hey Janine, we don't have time to put this trap away, can you do it for us? Which of course she does, but before she can, Paul Smart throws out some razzle-dazzle and distracts her, gets her out of the room so he can steal the trap, and then continues to take a whole bunch of photographs of blueprints of all the ghost-busting equipment. The hell is this jerk doing? And then he fakes a meeting to get the hell out of there. So then, like next week, he invites the Ghostbusters and Janine down to his Gross Junk Industries building for this demonstration. A demonstration of what? Well, he created this really awesome new ghost-busting machine, which he calls Robo-Buster X1. He even tosses out the trap that he stole, releases the ghost from earlier in the episode, and then Robo-Buster goes out there and busts this ghost. But not in the traditional ghost busting sense where you trap it. No. This guy makes the ghost dissipate. Like, what? Egon is all 5 shades of flabbergasted because you can't do that. You just can't make protoplasmic energy disappear. Like, it has to go somewhere. That's why they do the whole trapping and containment system, cause like, just the rules of the science of it all, right? But Paul Smart's not too concerned about that. But Robo-Buster is doing pretty awesome, even doing some jobs the Ghostbusters can't. So Janine is all steamed. She was just used by this jerk for the ghost-busting equipment. So her and Slimer go down and confront Paul in his office. And Paul's like, you know what? I don't need to listen to you. Hey, Robo-Buster, get in here and bust this green slimy ghost. Which he does. You're like, holy crap, man, that's Slimer. And he's gone! Like Peter Venkman constantly threatened to bust Slimer, but he never went through with it, right? Because it's lovable Slimer. But not with Paul Smart. Nope. Gone. Dissipated. Or is he actually gone? The Ghostbusters head out to Central Park, and there's this giant ghost cloud entity thingamabobber, which is one giant conglomerated melting pot of ghost from all the ghosts that Robo-Buster dissipated, because as Egon said, protoplasmic energy can't just be destroyed, it has to go somewhere, and this is where it went. The Ghostbusters with Ghostbustin' Janine confront Paul to tell him about this, but he don't care. The ghost cloud comes to his office. It even possesses Robo-Buster, which is really cool to see. Actually, pretty cool concept. But the Ghostbusters get that possessing ghost out of the robot's body and then use Robo-Buster. Egon then reconfigures Robo-Buster's streams so he can produce a regular ghost-busting stream. And they all team up to destroy this ghost thing. One by one, they got out a bunch of traps and slowly tear this thing apart. They also get Slimer out of there so he's saved. The rest of the ghosts are all busted in traps. Robo-Buster gets destroyed in the process, which is kinda heartbreaking. Paul's office gets destroyed, so does his car, and potentially his whole career. But at the end of the day is saved, and the Ghostbusters can continue on being a monopoly in this field. And with that is the end of this fantastic little story. So like I said, man, a total beaut of an episode, eh? And it works so good because, back in the 80s, man, there were so many cartoons that involved robots. Of course, there was like the Transformers, and I guess the GoBots, a lot of anime like Astro Boy, Voltron, and so many others. So it was really cool to see a robot being incorporated like this. And it's just one of those well-rounded written episodes where everything kind of makes sense based on what they're saying. There have been quite a few Ghostbusters episodes where things just kind of happen kind of randomly and it kind of doesn't seem to add up. But this one, man, all the way through, just streaming beauty. And what I mean by that is that the core of this story is just so well-rounded. Like, right off the bat, the stakes are pretty high. The Ghostbusters business is in peril because of this new amazing competition. Slimer is gone. You have to get him back. The ghost conglomerate seems like an unbeatable foe. Robo-Buster is an awesome character. Paul Smart is an awesome villain. Like what he did to get Robo-Buster made and the consequences of that with the ghost conglomerate. Like it was really good. The presentation, you know, it was what it was. Like it is a kid's show and it was only like what, 22 minutes long? Like they still got everything crammed in there for like a really good, well-told story. But like if it was fleshed out a bit more, like say a 2-part episode or like a TV cartoon movie, man, like I think the extra bit of time fleshing this all out would have just been like even more amazing of a story. But still, what they gave us, pretty darn good. And it is pretty nice to have a human adversary like they did in the first Ghostbusters movie with Walter Peck, you know, like, because usually it's like the ghost is the main villain. So to have this sleazy, slimy kind of business guy, man, it's just a nice kind of a throwback in a sense to the original movie. And yeah, just so great. And it is a pretty cool kind of monkey in the wrench for the Ghostbusters operation for them to have competition. The only other time this happened when it was a bunch of ghosts called Ghosts Are Us and they kind of faked a whole bunch of hauntings. Well, technically fake, they're ghosts still, I guess, but you know, not really real hauntings. But they were dealt with in that episode, and Robo-Buster's been dealt with. Like, yeah, man, this is a one ghost busting team kind of a town, you know, in New York being so gigantic. And so rampant with ghosts. This one definitely gets 2 gigantic robot thumbs up from me. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Cause like, man, there are so many things that I love about this episode, so let's just get right to it and start talking about some more Ghostbuster things. Okay, so Robo-Buster is definitely a homage to RoboCop, but more in the spiritual sense than the actual sense. What do I mean? Well, RoboCop is a cyborg with, you know, organic parts, and Robo-Buster is a straight-up robot. Even the look of Robo-Buster, the writers of the show didn't want him to look like RoboCop too much. This episode came out in 1988, the first RoboCop movie came out in 1987, and I guess, yeah, they didn't want it to be too much on the nose. So they came up with a new design, which looks a lot like Johnny Five from the 1986 movie Short Circuit. But at least Robo-Buster sounds like RoboCop, with the same kind of voice and same kind of tones. And he even kinda has his own catchphrase of,
"I am not afraid of any ghost."
Sorry, that's my RoboCop impersonation, which really sucks. But of course, that saying is kind of a rip on one of the lyrics of the Ghostbusters theme song by Ray Parker Jr., which is, of course, "I ain't afraid of no ghosts." Of course, RoboCop is owned by Omni Consumer Products, and the corrupt senior vice president, Dick Jones, kind of calls the shots on RoboCop. That's similar to Robo-Buster because he is owned by Gross Juck Industries, where the corrupt company president Paul Smart is calling the shots on Robo-Buster. Also, Paul Smart is a cutthroat kind of dog-eat-dog kind of character, and he was based off of the character Gordon Gekko, who was a cutthroat dog-eat-dog kind of character from the 1987 movie Wall Street. Also, fun little fact, the name of Gross Juck Industries is a combination of 2 names, so the executive producers of the real Ghostbusters are Michael Gross and Joe Medjuck. Put their last names kind of together and you get Grossjuck. So right in. A really awesome aspect of this episode is that you see Janine as a full-blown Ghostbuster. Not just a receptionist hanging out at the desk, but an actual field agent. Like, this doesn't really happen too often, but when the 4 Ghostbusters are like really screwed and they need extra help, you know, you already have Janine on the payroll. She knows a lot about the ghost-busting game, so it makes total sense to have her trained as a field agent. So it's really cool to see. She even has her own uniform. It's pink with the blue kind of collars, and it totally makes sense because Peter is pretty cheap when it comes to hiring staff, and he really wouldn't unless he super had to. But hey, you got someone already that you're paying on the payroll. Yeah, train them up. So yeah, awesome to see. So really, for the cartoon realm, this was just a one and done episode for Robo-Buster, even though, man, what an awesome character. You did kind of see variations of him in the comic books. So back in the day when Now Comics was making the real Ghostbusters comic books, you didn't quite have Robo-Buster, but Egon did build a ghost-busting robot and he called him Ecto X. You know, similar concept, but he does the proper form of ghost busting, which is trapping and containment as opposed to evaporating like a Robo-Buster did. And you kind of scarcely seen Robo-Buster hither and thither in IDW comic books. Of course, they had a massive multiverse ghost busting event called Ghostbusters Crossing Over. So you did see Robo-Buster on the cover of Crossing Over number 7, and in that multiverse, there is a dimension of living robots, and Robo-Buster is there. He's a sentient robot, kind of doing the same thing of busting ghosts, so right on. There is also this other dimension called 68B, where Ray and a character called Mike the Golem, they build a Robo-Buster to kind of help out with ghost busting. So things are kind of far and few in between with this character, but hey man, at least he got some kind of love after the episode was done, and I guess other than that, that's that. Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, you know, feel free to do so. Or anything else, you know, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, you know, have a great day. Thanks.